about working in the industry, there's a lot of different facets of the industry, whether it's entertainment, which is what I work in, or whether it's the more production or animation side of things. There's not a lot of foreigners in anime or in entertainment, and I feel like that needs to change for both economic reasons on Japan's side, because they have no babies, and also it's a problem. They're like, we have no babies, but we don't want foreigners, so I guess we'll just starve. And also because Japan is a pretty isolated country still, they work really hard to make sure it stays isolated, and despite the fact that anime is a major export, they don't really take it seriously, but they're starting to take it seriously because they've noticed that, you know, most of their economy is now being brought overseas, and anime is a large chunk of that. So, let's get this done. Let me get my PowerPoint ready. Oh, I'm in PowerPoint.
Oh.
And that's the one. I'm gonna have to cover up my baseball boys. I'm super sad about that. Alright. I will make this big. Please. Okay, that's me. Yay! I shall sit down. So we're gonna be doing like kind of a lot of things, like I'll talk at you and then you can ask me questions. If you have like a really burning question, go ahead and raise your hand. I used to be a teacher, so I'm super fond of questions and also raising hands. Let's see, so that's my face, and yeah, nerd references everywhere. Did anyone get this nerd reference? I don't see any winking. Come on. Okay, you just winked at me because, okay, sorry. So, I'm like gonna throw everything to my friend over there because she'll probably follow. Okay, alright. So, first a little introduction is probably a good idea, since about half of you are probably like, who the heck are you? So my name is Diana Garnett. I was born and raised in the Washington, D.C. area, mostly Silver Spring. Maryland. I came from Wheaton High School. Yes! All three of you. It's currently non-existent, so I'm really sad. I was going to go to my high school, but then it was like a pile of rubble. I was like, oh, never mind. Anyway, and so my dad and parents and stuff like that are into anime, so I was raised on anime, and to me it was almost like Disney, like it was just something that existed, and I didn't really think about it too hard until I noticed that, you know, maybe like not everybody watched Totoro when they were 5. I was like, really? That's upsetting. Totoro's awesome, right? Exactly. There was like an old like Fox VHS of Totoro before Disney got all the Ghibli. Yes, you get me. You feel me. All right. So, and it was terrible too, that dub opens. Anyway, so good stuff. It was good times. And so like for me, like that was how things, you know, were. And so I would listen to, you know, Anisong and stuff like that, and it was natural for me. So I started singing along with it, like that, and like went down over like my entire childhood. And there was one anime called Magic Knight's Raider. It's Magic Knight's Raider, and the opening song for that is like literally the best song. It's called Yusura Nainegai from Tamara Naomi, and you probably would recognize it from someone sing a little bit. It's like such a good song. And
she sung here.
Huh?
She did a concert at Otakon like 6 years ago.
I missed it. Oh no. She's seen more concerts in Japan. She's actually got several songs. She's got like that one, another Magic Knight's Raider song, and then she did like something else that I didn't pay attention to, but it was good too. And then she often likes to cover songs that I like as well. Anyway, but I heard that song and I was like, oh man, this is the best song ever. I want to be part of this world. Like I was going all like Little Mermaid on this. I was like, I must be a part. And so I started taking part in like karaoke contests, like Otakon Idol here at Otakon, which has turned into a talent show. And also many at Katsukan. I think every year I just haunted the karaoke room. And from there, I formed this plan to get into Japan. I was like, okay, I'm gonna graduate university so that I have a 4-year degree, because if I have a 4-year degree, I can get hired at basically any school to be an English teacher. And once I'm an English teacher, I'm gonna take over the world. So, yeah. So, when I was, after college, I came to Japan and took lots of pictures in Yokata, because that's what you gotta do. And I started working as a teacher, like a middle school English teacher. And then I at night I would become like, pop star and sing with my band in live houses around the area. I also did some TV here and there. But anywho, it was all to get exposure and have a portfolio so that people would notice. But there's a lot of different things you can do. Like if you want to work in like animation or direction and stuff like that, it's kind of the same deal. Like a lot of people are like, oh, that only works for singing because TV, but media is media. So it's a really good idea to sort of just, if you say you want to do art, then just do art. Like, do all the art you can possibly do, and maybe somebody will see it. How it worked for me was I was doing a TV show, and I did it a lot of times. But it wasn't until like the third or fourth time that I actually got noticed by my current management, and they contacted the TV show who contacted me. But that's the kind of thing that you kind of need to count on, is random encounters, because while skill is important, luck is also really important. Luck is a skill, and you can make luck by just doing everything. And even if it's not something you initially envisioned, you need to do it anyway. Like, a lot of the freelance work I was doing at night and on weekends was singing in English, which I had super no interest in doing, but it still made a portfolio and people still saw it. So I would do like Let It Go, because that's what was really popular around then. I'd be like, Let It Go! And people would be like, wow! Can you sing in Japanese? I'm like, that's what I do! It works really well, just do everything. I also did some like English, like educational stuff, like voice acting type stuff, and I do want to get into voice acting, not initially in English, but it helped sort of open that gateway, like, oh, can she do that? Yes, we have all of these samples. So when it comes to art, like, DeviantArt or Tumblr or whatever, just do it all. Webcomics, show everyone you can show, be shameless. Shameless is important. And that kind of thing will really help out. So that's, significance of flexibility and stuff like that. Really good idea to just try everything, even if you don't think you're gonna like it, do it anyway. So yeah. Oh, oops, there's a bullet point there I totally forgot about. How to go about moving across the world. So, I mentioned before that having a 4-year degree is really helpful because Japan doesn't really care how you graduated as long as you graduate. I graduated in like East Asian food anthropology because I wanted to eat mostly. Japanese food is delicious. So about half of my thesis was like, I like food, it is delicious. And they were like, sure, you can be an English teacher, you ate lots of food, that sounds great. Worked out real well. So you can graduate in like business, you can graduate in English if you actually like English. You can graduate in Japanese studies, anything you want, and as long as it's a 4-year degree, they'll probably be like, okay, sure, you speak English, alright, that works for me. You went to school, you put in your time. So, that's what's important. I should use the mic stand, I don't know why I'm not.
Right.
That's much easier than holding it. I don't know why I didn't think of that before. Okay, so after that, like a lot of it is just trying to find a company. There's a lot of really good websites for that, like Gaijin Pot. And once you get to Japan, you can change your job. Like if you want to work in translation, I have friends that work like in the game industry doing localizations like Nintendo and that really big one. Square Enix, that's the one. It's like the one with Final Fantasy. And most of them came in on a teacher visa. So it's the easiest one to get, so I recommend coming in that one. But there's a lot of different ways. I have one friend who was like a vending machine repairman, and he got in that way. His name's Chris Hart. He's like really shiny and pop star-tastic. Next, do we still not have our MC? Oh no. Okay, so it's so low up there. Do you want to come up with me? The cute girl. Yay! Yay! I feel super lonely up here. Help me and ask me questions. I'm rambling. Oh yay, too much science. That sounded dirty. Alright, Road to Ninja. I like stealing names of things. So, I guess I should play that song, huh? No, whatever. Okay, so it's fine, it'll come up eventually. So, in 2015, after I signed with Sony, I ended up doing an ending song for Naruto, which is exciting for me because I've liked Naruto since I was like 13. And sort of how that came about was a lot of sort of, I don't want to say pandering, but pandering is important. I like anime, so I would be really loud about the fact I like anime. I'm like, oh, it's on my cell phone, you should totally hire me. I really like Jump stuff, as you can see from my cell phone. So I would be like, hey, Jump, I like your things. We managed to get an Naruto ending, which is kind of like a Sony hazing technique. They just let, everybody sing a Naruto song eventually. Seriously, can you think of a Sony artist that hasn't done either Bleach or Naruto? Because I can't. I try really hard. I'm like, Kanabu? No, they did Naruto. Joe, Naruto too. So, yeah, no. Fullmetal Alchemist used to be another one that they got all the Sony artists to do, like Lark and Sail and stuff. But anyway, that's their hazing technique. But it is a really good experience because Naruto sort of opens the floodgates. Like, it's not, it's mainstream, so it's not like, anime, like it's not like Sword Art Online type, but it is, a way for them to be like, does this person anime or do they just regular rock song? So that's kind of a good way to get into that. Also, media is really important, at least for the entertainment and, oh, you got a question!
How was it like working with Flo?
Yay! I'm glad you asked. It was the best! Flo is so nice! Like, oh my god! Like, okay, so they do a lot of foreign sort of concerts, so they understand the foreign market really well. But the best thing about Flo is how, cooperative they are. Like, there's 5 of them. And they all have their own role in the band. And I worked really closely with Taka, the guitarist. Yeah, he's so cool. And so Taka's like, he's very foreign himself. So like we would just sit there and we would sometimes make fun of pronunciation. We'd be like, oh, Naruto, in America it's Naruto. So Naruto. And we had a lot of fun doing that. And then Taka was Take. So but that's mostly what we did the entire day. Was we just made weird faces at each other. But I still see them occasionally. They do a lot of collaborations with different artists on stage and on Nikon. And I highly recommend going to their lives. It's super energy-tastic. They are my favorite. I'm ready to work. Yeah, I got to sing like my favorite Iki Monozakari song with them. I was like, oh. Like I was like exploding from the inside. Anyway, so yes, that was that, and that's all Naruto. Naruto connection. So like it's like a big family, which is good because it's everybody in Sony. So like, oh, I did Naruto. Me too. Yeah, that's everyone. And so yeah, so I really enjoyed that. And media, as I was saying before, is really important because different media exposes you to different people, and at least in Japan, networking is key. So if you want to work in like direction or animation or storyboarding or being a mangaka or something like that, networking is maybe more important than anything else. If people like you, they want to give you work. So you can always gain skills later. Because skills are gainable at any time, really. Like, you can just study that on Wikipedia. It's cool. But what's most important is getting out there and getting people to believe in you, and believing in yourself as well. Because if you don't believe in yourself, like, it's gonna be a hard sell. They're gonna be like, well, if you don't think you can do it, why do you think I think you're gonna be able to do it? It gets a little bit confuddling there. But even if you're just faking it to make it, that works too. Like, you just tell yourself you're awesome all the time. That's what I do. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I'm adorable. I can sing really good. And eventually, it is mostly true. So, yeah, questions?
Okay. So, in terms of selling yourself and marketing yourself, what do you think is the most important medium? Like, how would you recommend starting yourself?
That's actually a difficult question because the entertainment industry at the moment is going through a little crisis. Like, it doesn't know what it's doing. So it's all like, is social media important? And then they're like, no. And then they're like, is media important? And then they're like, it used to be, but it doesn't seem to be as important. And they're like, maybe it's both. And then they're like, that doesn't work either. So currently, we don't know. But if we knew, things would be like really exciting. But it seems to be still media is the strongest at different television shows. As it says in the little subtitle there, it's almost impossible to see because I'm really bad at picking colors. Variety television in Japan is really important. It has nothing to do with my job, but if you get variety television, that's the highest watched form of television. Most of the time you're just sitting there making fun of people. I don't know what it's kind of terrible. But, while making fun of, somebody's hilariously polka-dotted outfit, people are exposed to your personality. And if they think you have a good personality, even though you're making fun of people, personality, they end up wanting to hire you for other things, like music shows. Oh, so I can do my job. But like most recently, my work has been a lot of monomane, which is impressions, which I didn't think I was good at. And I'm not specialized in it, but like as long as you can sound close enough, they think it's fun. So it's kind of a weird thing. Yeah, but magazines, newspapers, and then social media, like Twitter doesn't really seem to affect careers too much. Vine used to, but no longer does. YouTube, they're kind of trying to work on, but it doesn't. Japan doesn't understand YouTube because they're used to the Nico format. And you're like, what? Japan only got YouTube like 2 years ago, and like the rest of the world was like, oh, I've had it for like 15 years. They're really bad at the internet, and they don't know how to handle it in the music industry because the streaming thing is killing record sales. Like they don't know how to make people pay for that. So Sony's just like, block everything, which is why you can't watch anything. Sorry! But we've got it on Vivo now, so, and iTunes in America. But like, at least for Naruto, like it wasn't available internationally until like this January. So like a year after it came out. And people were like, what? Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Next. Shiny pictures. So, as I said before, after you get like a portfolio and people to pay attention to what you're doing, just go at it super hard until they can't afford to ignore you, is basically my favorite game plan. Like, just annoy the crap out of everyone. So for me, in my case, I decided to focus really strong in anime in particular because I like it. And some people will focus more on dance, but as you could see, like in the beginning there, I was like, nah. So, for me, it's very specifically like more so than showmanship, which is probably important. I should work on that. Sorry. It's more actual singing chops and then knowledge about nerd things. And people seem to let me talk about that, so that's good. Any questions? I want a question right now. Yay! That is an excellent point. So Spotify and Pandora don't exist in Japan. They don't know how to make a format that would work, because when we look at the American industry, Spotify isn't not working, but it's not working amazingly either, and that's not good enough for Japan. Japan had always had the physical sales model. They never switched over to digital, really. Like, they had iTunes, but no one used it. So, because they don't already have a digital marketplace, they don't understand how to then just jump like 800 steps to streaming. So for them, it's really difficult to sort of make that leap of faith, especially when they see the Western market and it's not making as much money as physical sales would make if they continued to work. So they just keep trying to push the physical sales by like adding in extras and that kind of thing. And they're really worried about it. And it's why you see a lot of sort of major artists doing kind of mid-level tie-ups at the moment, is because they're not quite sure how to sell like they used to. The entire market has sort of bottomed out by about 50%. So million sellers and a half a million sellers. And they don't know how to make that up in streaming, because streaming just isn't that profitable. Like, it's only enough to just break even, and that's not good enough for a market that used to be the biggest music market for the tiniest country. Yeah. Oh, that's depressing. Let's talk about happy things. Do we have any happy questions? Yes?
Okay, so you said the most easy way to get into Japan is on a teaching license?
Teaching visa, yeah.
So, do you actually get training?
Yes, you do. Oh, they fix everything for you. Like, they make it as easy as possible. So once you've got your 4-year degree and you go on your gaijin pod and you like apply to Interact or GABA or ELT or any of those. Hold on, this is kind of loud. I'm gonna make this song quieter. This is my ridiculousness. See? Even quieter. I'll get back to that. That's why I don't do that with mine very often. Anyway, so I'm two questions. So what they do is they take you over to Japan and they give you like a sort of like a trial period, and in the trial period there's usually like a week or 2 weeks of training. So they teach you how to handle the kids, handle the parents. They give you all the teaching materials that you need to work with. So there's full training involved. Like, it's still not quite enough. The teachers are all really supportive as well. You're never alone in the classroom. So if you ever have any questions, there's always like a big support network. That's not to say that I like highly recommend teaching or anything like that. It is a good experience, but the pay isn't great, and you don't have a lot of liberty. Like, you can't. The Japanese school system is very flawed. It is incredibly flawed, and you are not allowed to fix it. And everybody goes in with these aspirations of like, I'm gonna make English amazing, because Japan is really low level at English, despite being one of the top, commerces in commerce, like number 4 or 5 in the world, and they're like, English. And it would be so easy to get them better at English if they just changed things a little bit, but they will not change it. But if you make English fun for people, they might go and seek it out on their own, so it's okay. But anyway, they give you training, it's all good. You'll be taken care of. And they'll also help you with housing and stuff like that, because housing's really hard to find as a foreigner. So I recommend going for it. Gaijinpot.com.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah.
Can you repeat that?
I can't. I could probably write it down. Do I have a whiteboard? I'm sorry, I asked for weird things. Hold on. Let me write it really big on the screen. Hold on. Otherwise it doesn't work. Oh.
There's font options right there.
I did, but not with HDMI cable. So it's gaijinpot.com. Hopefully that's not the tiniest ever. Let me space it out a little bit. Bigger. Oh, that's the thing I can do. Hold on.
Hit command and pause.
Yay! Thank you. Thanks for teaching me how to use my computer.
There's an extra N in there. It's Gaijin Pod.
Did I? Yeah, I did.
GaijinPod.com.
So I'm really bad at spelling, by the way.
Marijuana.com.
But yeah, they have a lot of different, and they have other listings as well, but it's easiest to get into the teaching ones, but they also do like translation and like concierge at hotels, like all the jobs they want foreigners for are on that website. And they also have housing and stuff like that too. I just got my new apartment from there. So, let me get the linking thing out of there. Okay, all right. Do we all have it written down and taken pictures of? Yes!
Have you had to deal with prejudice being an American working in Japan?
You bet! Oh, an excellent question. So, Japan is very isolated, and although being a foreigner also helps me in some ways because it's really, at least now because I'm blonde, because I made myself blonde, it's really obvious I'm a foreigner, but at the same time, I was talking with you earlier, I wanted to get into voice acting work, but they were kind of like, why would we bother trying to, hire a foreigner when we could just get a Japanese person? Because like, we're not sure a foreigner would be able to read as well. Even if you prove that you can read as well, they're like, And they're also worried about, like for dramas and stuff like that, directing. They're all like, well, you might not be able to understand our directions, and even if like we assure that she'll understand the directions, and if she doesn't, we'll make sure she understands the directions so you don't have to worry about it. It's just easier for them not to hire a foreigner than it is like a half Japanese person that looks foreign. So also with TV shows and stuff like that, that are variety shows are very talk-based. They're just not like 1000% sure that I'll be able to follow all of the conversation, even if they're like, yeah, she'll be able to follow the conversation. So there's a lot of that. Also with Naruto, because it was about ninjas, there was a faction of people that were like, no, foreigners can't sing about ninjas. And I was like, you do realize that Naruto was, the author, Kishimoto, like he actually made Naruto to be a ninja story in the perspective of like what he assumed foreigners would view ninjas as. That's really convoluted, but that's what he made Naruto the image of. Like,
Exactly.
that was
That's
his
how we
plan
treat
to start with. Because he was like, foreigners think ninjas are like this, so I will make an entire series about that. And so like, I thought it was the most natural thing in the world to sing about ninjas, and they're like, no, this is a Japanese cultural thing, and you don't Japanese cultural enough because you aren't Japanese. And I'm like, but I still live in Japan. And they're like, we don't care. You didn't live here. So there's a lot of that. But at the same time, I do get to be the token foreigner quite a bit. So it both helps my career in the short term, but really impacts my career in the long term. So short term, I can get noticed initially, and this is true of any industry, like whether it's mangaka or production or any sort of facet of the entertainment industry. At first, the foreigner will be super shiny, rare Pokemon. They'll be like, oh my god, it is a wild Gyarados. And they will go insane for like a year. But after that year, the shiny wears off. And they're like, I don't think it's really, long-term wise, easy to keep a foreigner employed because there's the visa that they have to re-up every year, and it's difficult to, let people know that, oh yeah, she can do the work as well as anyone else. So you do have to be better than everything in order to get work. And that is a lot of pressure, but at the same time, if you stick with it, hopefully the industry will eventually change. There's currently myself and Chris Hart and Nicholas Edwards that are foreigners that are singing. And we used to have Jamie Lynn Lano as a mangaka for Jump. She was an assistant for Prince of Tennis. And she was sort of changing ideas in there. We've got Jenya, who's the Russian voice actress lady. And we've got Atsugiri... We've got Atsugiri... Hold on. We've got Atsugiri Jason, who's a comedian. And he's like the first foreign comedian that is all by himself. Like, he's not part of a manzai duo, which is like straight man, not funny man? I was like, no, that sounds bad. Straight man, funny man duo that's called manzai. And he's the first one that's not a duo. He's all by himself, and he's doing it amazingly well. And he's stuck around for like a year now, so that's good. But that's it. And then in animation, there's like a dude that works on storyboards and art direction. And then there's like a couple animators, and that's it. So we definitely need more foreigners in the industry that are willing to take all the abuse that they have to throw at you. Yes?
I've studied in Japan, so a question that was frequently asked, even on like a test in class, that I found difficult to answer was, I hate that question too, so I was going to ask if you have the same problems answering it.
Everyone hates that question. Oh my god, you can use chopsticks? Yes, we can all use chopsticks. Yeah, so Japanese people will always ask you, what surprised you coming to Japan? And you're like, I try not to have assumptions about places.
So like, I make stuff up.
I make stuff up, yeah, you just make stuff up. So for me, it was, I tried to like flatter them quite a bit because flattering is good for you. So I would be like, I was always surprised about like how convenient Japan is, like the combini, you can pay your bills at the combini, that's kind of nice. I don't have to write checks or anything. Although the internet's more convenient. But I'll make them, like the air conditioning technology is really nice in Japan. I can have my own personal air conditioner. I don't have to central air and kill my throat with everyone. That's nice. I actually have a whole song about how much I like air conditioners. I actually think I'm gonna play that right now. That's all. Find it, there it is. It's about air conditioners and I love them. Anyway, yeah. I do hate that question so much. Yes?
I have maybe the last two questions. Are there any particularly amusing stories you can recall of when someone didn't really expect that you would understand them as well as you did, or be able to like they were saying something they didn't expect you to understand?
That's most of what they say. They think I don't understand them all the time. It's really funny. They try and trip me up on words that sound like other words. So they would ask me about sumo and stuff. Yeah, and they'd be like, who's your favorite, sumo guy? And the word for sumo guy sounds a lot like a bunch of other things, and they're like, oh, but she won't know, because we didn't say like, senshu, so she won't know. And I was like, my favorite type of Fuji, thank you. So, sumo power, because he's a foreigner and I'm a foreigner, so we're foreign friends. But But yeah, so they would often try and trip you up. Like I have one guy on the radio that specifically talks to me in the most complicated Japanese he can muster. And he does trip me up because I'm really bad at Keigo, because like, nobody has time for that. So like, because it takes like 800 years to say one thing in Keigo, because there's like all of these like extra things at the end. Like I don't go on to stop and just say, did I see it or not? So, yeah.
Keigo is like, you don't even learn it in Japanese school.
You don't? I never went to Japanese school, I have no idea. I don't learn it in my life.
No one learns it, but you're expected to know it when you like somehow graduate school.
Yeah, if you're like in the business sector,
Yeah.
yeah, that would suck. Like friends that go into like regular office jobs and stuff like, they're like, we don't know Keigo. I'm like, neither does anyone. Like young people in Japan don't know either, so ain't no one. They just guess, and they're like, this probably is the right Keigo. I don't think it is. I just talk like a 12-year-old boy because all I watch is jump. Yes?
How did you go about learning the language?
Oh, that's awesome. Actually, I didn't cover that. So because I listened to Japanese quite a bit as I was growing up, because Dad was like, you need to watch all of Uchu Senkan Yamato right now. Thanks, Dad. I was 4. I was like, this is dark. Everyone's dying. Anyway, so for me, like the pronunciation got in really early, but rather than like sitting down and learning Japanese in like a class, I thought it would be more practical to just watch a bunch of anime.
Yeah.
More fun. And so my Japanese is very out of an anime. So I'll say like things like "hisatsu," and like nobody uses that in real life, but I make it. I try and squish it into every conversation. Yeah, or like "Nitori," that kind of thing. So very important things. And then also talking with people is really important because you only really learn the colloquial Japanese if you talk to people. Twitter is actually a really good way to learn like a mix of written Japanese because it's an entire different language, and spoken Japanese because they sort of. Serious people will write in written Japanese style, and most people won't, so you'll get both. So follow everyone on Twitter. Like artists and mangaka are really good people to follow because they're chatty. But it's fine if you don't go to like Japanese school. I think a lot of the top translators never bother. Like, you're Japanese, you're cheating.
I've never been to Japanese school.
Yeah, you got parents.
I got married.
But in any way you want to learn the language, I would say go with it. Like I'm a terrible teacher, I feel like, because like I feel like I should be like, you should go to school, but really whatever interests you is the best sort of way to learn the language, I feel like. Go back over here. Okay. Oh wait, I should PowerPoint again. Whoops. So, yes!
So, we visited Japan for the first time this year.
Yay!
We stayed around like Shinjuku. I actually proposed to her there.
Congratulations! You said yes, right?
Yes.
Okay, I was just making sure. It would be super awkward if you didn't.
But we're planning to go back next year. And I was wondering if you could give us a few spots that, like we didn't go to Kyoto, right? We really just stayed in Tokyo and just around like our hotel.
Did you go to Nakano?
I don't know what that is. So.
Oh, okay, so I guess not. So a lot of people go to Akihabara, right? Because they're like, wait a minute, Akihabara. No, you need to go to Nakano. Nakano Broadway, it has an amazing name. Yes. Oh, people that know. It's where you get all the used stuff super cheap, and it's usually real new. So if you want anime stuff, Nakano and Ikebukuro, the big giant anime there. Yes.
Our store was in Ikebukuro.
Yes, I live really close to Ikebukuro, so I just live there basically. And then if you go outside of Tokyo, I would super recommend Kyoto, of course. Not so much Osaka, because like unless you want to eat all the takoyaki, which you do, but that's like a day. And then you go to Kyoto for like 8 days, and then you're good. And then I really like Kobe. And the reason I like Kobe is because not too far from Kobe is Takarazuka. I grew up with it. Clap for Takarazuka. It's the ladies that do the theater. Yay! All lady theater! And also the Koshien Stadium is there, and baseball, so.
Awesome, thank you.
No problem. Yes. Sorry, cosplay. I was like, oh, Haikyuu cosplay. Yes!
So this is kind of a weird one, but I figured it's related to your impression of the culture. But I've seen news of just, I would put it, really weird otaku and their obsession with idols.
Oh, the idol otaku are fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
I like your impressions on that and what you've seen so far.
so idol culture is really its own thing. When people mistake idols with music, it is a little bit frustrating. Idols are their own kind of entertainment, and they have fans that are very, 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 very passionate. And idols are kind of what's holding up the music industry at the moment, despite the fact it's not music. And the reason for that is because they're able to sell several copies to one person because they put different specials in or handshake tickets. That's smart. So in order to meet your favorite idol and give her a big sweaty hug, you need to get a ticket. Yeah. And so some people will buy like 30 copies of one CD so that they can hug the girl like 30 times, and they do. They do. That's actually a sales tactic we use for some of my lives. And it gets real uncomfortable, like the 30th time they come through, I'm like, I know like every crevice of your chest, like it's a lot. Oh man. But at the same time, I think it is actually a brilliant tactic, and for idols fans, like the idols are able to give them a lot of times courage and power and motivation. And I think however anyone gets their inspiration is a valid form. So whether it's with idols or whether it's like baby metal or whether it's Vocaloids, whether it's comic books, whatever enables you to be your best you, I think is good. And that idols are a great community. A lot of these people, gather together before the shows and they have dinner and then they go to the show and then they're like, yay, and they have fun together, and that's great. That's just what an anime convention is. But with like a lot more sweat and light beams. So I think it's good. I want to be an idol. I'd be cute. Anyway, any other questions? Yes?
Hello.
Hello.
Have you made any music videos, and if so, what's that process like?
Oh, good question too. I had music videos for my two originals, Spinning World for Naruto and Nankai Mystery for Tansei Kazuchi Kendo. And the first one, Spinning World, was fun. We went to a school and we stole some students. I enjoyed that. I was like, yay, real students! And we forced them to be our extras. And and it was like this little love story between them, and sometimes I would dance in the middle, so. But it was an all-day process, and it's really intense. Like, we started out at like 3 a.m. and I only go to sleep at like 3 a.m. I got anime to watch. And so, I just didn't sleep. And so then, forever in hair and makeup, and then, despite the fact I'm only in, 50 seconds going, woo, the whole time. And then, there's cameras, 800 cameras everywhere, and they're super in your face. But you have to pretend like you don't see them, even though your eyes are like, hey there. And it is a lot of fun, though. There's a huge amount of staff that work really hard to make sure that every angle everywhere is caught. It got kind of dangerous when I spinned around and I started like, whee! Because I was like, hope you didn't get that. They got it in 3D. And then the second one, Nankai Mystery, was we again stole some children off the street. We do a lot of this. And we dressed them up in bunny costumes, but they look like wolves. And we just made them, because we picked kids because I'm very, very short. And if we picked adults, they would be out of the frame. So we had to go with 12-year-old boys. And we had this, it was a one-room thing, but we made it look like it was a castle or something like that. And we had magic camera angles, making it look like we were solving a bunch of mysteries. It was really fun. They're up on Vivo if you would like to watch them. Search my name on Vivo. But they're really good. We also had some for some of the covers, but I was literally just sitting on a bench going oh, the great. So, but it is really fun. It is very intense though. Very intense. Yes. Yes! That's an excellent question. So I practice singing all the time, every day. Initially, before I went pro, it was whenever I was walking down the street, so I would be one of those people, those people. Yeah. And I would just sing to the whole world as I was walking down the street. These days, I like to bother my neighbors all day. So It's super not allowed to have loud music in my apartment complex, but no one's complained yet, so I'm gonna keep doing that. A lot of times it's just endless repetition. I'm specifically bad at remembering lyrics, not because I'm foreign, but just because I'm bad at remembering things. And so if I don't go over it like 8.5 million times, I'm definitely gonna make a mistake. So endless repetition, and then a lot of like my manager who has disappeared, going, I didn't like that, you should sing it in a different way. And I sing it in a different way. He's like, never mind, I lied, I liked it the first way. Lots of that, yeah. But some people go to vocal coaches, which I think is actually a really good idea. It's easy to damage yourself if you sort of push yourself past your limits, or if you sing with the wrong muscles, because singing is a sport. Like, we're athletes. Like, you've gotta have back muscles so that you don't die. You've gotta have like super abs. So like, if you punch my abs, they're like rock hard. Because like when you sing, hold on, I'm gonna do stuff. It a lot of times comes from here. Like people that have done chorus singing will know, but it's like so like there's a lot of squish. And then there's a lot of throat muscles that you need to use as well. I sing in mostly what they call a G-boy, which is, what's that in English? G-boy. Hey mom, what's the opposite of head voice?
Chest voice.
Chest voice. I sing in chest voice most of the time, but I'll sometimes flip up into head voice. And that is a different set of muscles entirely, so if you don't build those up, it's really easy to get yourself vocal nodules, which is like a callus on your vocal cords, and it's super bad for you, so be careful. Vocal trainers will be able to get bad habits out of you, but if you go to a bad vocal trainer, they'll make you sing in a style they want you to sing in, and that's not a good idea. Yeah, that's my story. That was a good question, though. Yes? Okay. Jump questions! So I read Jump religiously, and so my current favorite reading series are, Haikyuu. I'm gonna show my Noya Senpai phone quite a lot. Haikyuu is maybe my most favorite thing ever. I'm also really, really fond of Boku no Hero Academia. I also like Seisuji Pinto. Yeah, Boku no Hero Academia. There's gonna be a second season soon! I want to sing a song for that. Because like it's kind of based off of American heroes and America. Anyway, I also really like the shako dance. English, hold on. What's shako dance? Ballroom dancing. The ballroom dancing manga is actually pretty decent, but it's not as good as the other ballroom dancing manga called Ballroom e Yokoso. It's really, really good. But it's okay. Seisuji Pinto, it's really, really good. And then, but anything basically is pretty good. But I think we are going through a slight dry spell in Jump. There's a bunch of new things starting up like right now, though. So, yeah. Yes.
How exactly did you transition from being a teacher into your industry? Were you just talking to someone and said, "Hey, I want to do this"?
That's an excellent question. So when I was teaching, as I said, I was doing like a bunch of freelance work, and one of them got noticed by one of the Sony managers, and so that guy contacted the TV station that he had originally seen me on, and we started talking. And the talks are really long, usually like several months worth of talks. And so, they were kind of like, we'd like to sign you, but we can't guarantee a label immediately. But as a foreigner, if I don't have a label, I don't have a visa. So there's a lot of political stuff, but basically I was kind of like, if I don't have like an income, my visa isn't valid. And so and you have to change your visa type. The teaching visa and the entertainment visas are totally different visas. And that takes like an application process, and it's very difficult. So what happened was, you bounce out of Japan and come back on a tourist visa, and you can't work. You can't get any money on a tourist visa, so you have to save up. And then you start, working with Sony and doing demos and that kind of thing, and then they basically get you signed as fast as they possibly can, or you can just keep bouncing back and forth and on the tourist visa, but you cannot take any money during this time. That's super illegal. They will kick you out of the country. And once you get signed, the label pays a salary, and that allows you to get a visa. And the entertainment visa is the hardest visa to get, and if you don't have like a release decided on with your contract, they won't give you the visa. So it's really hard for entertainers, but almost any other visa, like if you're doing manga or something like that, or doing anime production and that kind of thing, is much easier to get. That would be a cultural specialty humanities visa, and anybody can sponsor that. But with the entertainment visa, you need a label decided, you need a release decided, and you need a certain amount of work every year, and you have to re-up it every single year. Other visa types, you get 3 or 5 years. Entertainment is 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year. So, yes?
Related to that, what about dual citizenship? Is that just not possible?
Japan does not dual citizenship. Japan is like, you love us or nothing. So, what you can do though is naturalize, and so you could change your citizenship from, say, like an American citizenship to a Japanese citizenship, but that's kind of extreme. I'm thinking about it, but I feel like permanent residency is the better option because it's most of your rights as a human being. Without the changing your citizenship, but it'll depend on what happens in the future, but Japan will not do a residency. The best thing to do, which is what every other entertainer has done but me, get married to a Japanese person. That's the easiest way, because that's a non-restricted visa. You can literally do whatever you want. You don't have to make a certain amount of money, you don't have to live anywhere in particular, especially if you take their last name. Like, my friend Chris, marriage visa. Very smart person. So if they made cats marriageable, I would marry a little Japanese bobtail cat. That would be so adorable, just like Nyanko-sensei. Nyanko-sensei. Marry him. But yes, that's an excellent question. It gets really sticky, legally speaking, but if you're careful and stay within the law, they won't kick you out. So.
We probably only have time for maybe one question or so.
Who wants to be the last question? Oh, it's a battle. Do, rock, paper, scissors. Oh, all 3 of you, yeah. Rock, paper, scissors. Oh. Okay, so the 2 scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. Okay, paper wins.
I'm going to Japan for study abroad this year, and I was wondering, like, I'm not going to be graduated, but like, how would I kind of get involved with being in the translation industry?
That is a really good question. So, network like there's no tomorrow. You're gonna go for a year? Good. Where are you gonna be? Tokyo? Excellent. So, all of the major companies are in Tokyo. So what you need to do is make friends with people that might have connections. Somebody in your school will definitely know someone. And just make as many friends as possible and mention that you're interested in doing stuff. And eventually somebody will bring you back to that option. Like somebody will work at Square Enix or have a cousin that works at Square or something like that. And go to as many, Japan calls it nominication, but the drinking parties, because that's how they know you're good people. And then also just translate for fun and have something to show people. That's really important. Be like, hey, I just happen to do this on my own. You should hire me because I'll do it for money. Yep. Do we actually have more time?
Maybe for one more.
Yes.
Actually.
Yes. Okay, the two dudes, John Ken again. John Ken.
So, I know you've talked a lot about different opportunities for people who are looking more for the translation or artistic side of things, but for people like myself who aren't particularly artistically talented, what's the job market like for foreigners in IT or production in the entertainment industry?
Excellent, excellent. So, Atsugiri Jason, the comedian guy, is an IT guy. That's his job, that's his main job. So there's actually quite a lot of jobs available for IT people, especially if you speak Japanese, but even if you don't, a lot of people need management types, and it might not initially be the kind of company you want to work for, but once you have kind of a name for yourself, you can be like, hey, I want to work for you over there, and they might be like, oh, you talented. So I would just take the leap and try for it. Gaijin Pop will have some IT jobs, especially mid-manager positions for foreigners to sort of train people as well. So go for that. Yay!
Well, thank you so much for coming to our panel for Diana Garnett one more time.
showcase live where I'll be singing different songs than I sang yesterday. Awesome songs. And I'm also doing...
She has an autograph session tonight at 5:30 in the Maryland Suites in the Hyatt.
Sign things. I'll sign whatever.
But yes, also in the showcase tomorrow.
Don't say that.
Thanks, Mom. I think I'm also judging the talent competitions, both of them, so I cannot wait to see people there, and yay!